Mr. Speaker, our economy took a bigger hit from the COVID-19 pandemic and the ensuing consequences than had been anticipated. And in 2021 and 2022, we were in unaccustomed trouble. Our economy, which in my first term had been widely acknowledged to have performed creditably, marked by the longest period of single-digit inflation, 7% average GDP real growth rate, and strong external balances, was on its knees. The government's difficulties in Parliament, with the slimmest of the international rate struggle to get financed. We faced the problems with equanimity, took a deep breath, and decided to apply for an IMF supported program, dubbed Post-COVID-19 Program for Economic Growth, PCA, in the middle of 2023. The implementation of the program so far has gone well, even as it has been challenging. We have passed successfully through 3 successive reviews of program implementation by the IMF board, with the most recent review approved on 2nd December 2024, leading to the disbursement of $360 million United States dollars. The fund has therefore disbursed a cumulative $1.9 billion United States dollars to date. At the moment, I'm able to say with confidence that the crisis is over, that the economy has recovered strongly and faster than projected. In order for me to be able to make this assertion, I must make reference to the debt restructuring exercise. It affected many bondholders and was one of the most challenging decisions my administration had to undertake. It was not a choice made lightly, as we were acutely aware of the personal and financial hardships it would impose on individuals, families, and institutions across the country.
Whenever I say my PENDREAM TV there, I see them, yupo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section after watching, or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777. Thank you. I want you to join me listening to a hot banter between Kpebu and Kamal Deen of the MPP, and it's all about the sooner address of Nana Addo, which I would like you to join me listening to it into detail without time wasting. Thank you.
But welcome. Also joining us this morning is Kpebu. He is a private legal practitioner. He is leader of one or 3 individual bondholder groups, the convener of the Kpebu Reloaded demonstration, and recently appointed member of the Operation Recover All Loot Oral Preparatory Team. I think many people confuse this to be the oral team itself. This is the preparatory team, right? For the oral itself.
Yes.
Lawyer Kpebu, good morning. Welcome.
Morning, Mr. Okansi. Good to be here once again.
We are on again.
On the #1 talk show, Saturday mornings, right? 17 months running. It's still amazing. Good people of God, thanks for making this your show. And as usual, we are guided by your wishes and your aspirations. Good. Yesterday, I just happened to have gone on Facebook, and you know the newest joke I saw. Lebene Ahiabo. She wrote that it is possible radio. It is possible radio, and the frequency is 38.2. Referring to Baumia's, what do you call it?
So Baumia got 38.2. Is it 38.2?
Maybe I'm the point. She wrote 38.
But no, but did he actually get 38.2?
Oh, you two don't go.
No, you see, I ask because people like you don't spin. You only speak to facts. You know, I know lawyers are very smart people who only speak to facts.
Yeah.
And I'm asking whether the 38.2 is indeed. Was it just? Or is it the reality?
It's around 1 year. The point what I'm adding is probably not the one. Just the fact check. 38 is sufficient. I'll just go back on Facebook. But to have coined, you see, you are not getting the point. The point is that we will make light moments of things that others don't see. I mean, so she saw the joke in it. Yeah. It is possible radio, or is it even FM, 38 point something. I'll check on Facebook the exact what follows there. Okay. Yes. So that's it. So we should be adding them to the radios that also tune in, right? Or that follow this program. Anyway, once again, good morning to Garmanche, right? Can take you through the
We're starting the year with them again.
Yes, Garmanche, they're constant until we get justice in the Cicely Adapa matter. Because Garmanche says that for him, he can't accept the fact that, and a lot of us follow his argument, that Cicely Adapa had so much money, over $1 million in her home, and euros, and everything else, the bank accounts and everything. I mean, so much money. That's one lady, a small ministry, as small as sanitation, right? And people are making the insinuation, the World Bank contract, is that money that ended up in her bedroom, etc. People have the right to ask those questions. They are legitimate. Why not? It's a democracy. Because, Socrates says, an unexamined life is not worth living. That's to say that citizens must ask questions of what? Leaders. Citizens must ask for accountability. So that is it. An unexamined life is not worth living. Anyway, so apart from Garmanche, yes, we'll go to Chief Justice Sofa Ekufu Yasantua. Thank you very much for coming through. Yes, when people were quiet, you chose to speak, even though you were a relation of President Ekufu. You said that there was bad governance, the lithium contract, the DDP, and other governance issues. So Yasantua Sofa Ekufu, very grateful once again. And of course, Osia Deyo Ajimambedu II, Doma Hini, one fearless judge and chief who also stood up and did his bit. Of course. Hey, let's not forget Kofi Aflu, the man who brought back the matter of the 52.5 billion cedis that the Auditor General is here to find for us, all right, since 2020. Remember, we've read the letter a few times here. So Auditor General Johnson, they said, we are waiting for that money. We must account for them. Don't let Akufo-Addo escape by the side door. He has to account for it. Otherwise, very soon, we'll sue both of them, Akufo-Addo and then the Auditor General, because we must get to the bottom of that matter. Hey, that's a lot of money, 52.5 billion. How much did we borrow from IMF? Well, the 52.5 billion is more than what we borrowed from the IMF. So we must get to the bottom of that matter. They will be vomiting of that money. We will not allow Akufo-Addo and his people. Of course, don't forget the 800 million he almost added to the Ameri deal. He actually did, and we caught him, and so he now had to say he had been misled. Sure, a man who asked $800 million to a contract, don't underestimate him, Akufo-Addo. So we'll see.
So this particular 58 million, that's cedis, I beg your pardon. I recall that there were 52.5 million. Billion. 52.5 billion.
Yes, sir.
You wrote to the Auditor General, that's Mr. Flu and others, who wrote to the Auditor General on this matter. What was the latest move by the Auditor General, that is, if there has been any at all, to retrieve this money? Because this is big enough to have engaged the minds of any serious person who wants to make an impact in this country. What's the latest on this?
So, good.
The first quarter budget is about 60 billion.
Yes.
So that's like the first quarter budget of
excellent
2025.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Yes, so AFLU presented a petition to Parliament, and then Speaker Bagbin and Parliament were supposed to do something, but till date it's not been done. So once Parliament is not doing much about it, our recourse is to go back to the Auditor General. You remember this, the same Auditor General, we sued the them, we took them to the Information Commission when they did the illegal recruitment. They didn't advertise the recruitments, etc. And we won. So, of course, we're emboldened to take on the Auditor General and the Audit Service generally if we don't get to the bottom of that matter, right? Yeah, so there's a parliamentary petition, but obviously this parliament is about dying, so it doesn't look like this parliament will get to the bottom of it. And this is not the only petition that has not been attended to. You remember Manasseh Azure also petitioned Parliament over the Zoom Lion contracts. Oh yes, Speaker Babin set up a committee. Years on, the committee is not able to come out with the report. You see, citizens, let's be vigilant too. The Kukwasa, of course, this is W. Ali Nachia would say. Yes, the Kukwasa is too much. It's just too slow. Babin set up this committee a few years ago. It's more than 3 years, and the committee report is not out. The contract that when Akufo-Addo was in opposition, he said it was stinking, it was corrupt. Yes, the tapes are there. Akufo-Addo said the Zoom Lion contract was full of corruption. And so if we voted for him, he would come and sanitize everything. He came, and then rather he did more deals with Zoom Lion. You remember the case I said I'll be taking him on, the fumigation after COVID, over 500 million that we spent on that fumigation when the assemblies vehemently thought it wasn't necessary. And when Akufo-Addo pushed, then they said, okay, give us the chemicals, we'll do it ourselves so that we will reduce money, a lot of the money, substantial reduction in the cost. Yet Akufo-Addo refused and said Zoom Lion should do it. So I also would say it's corruption. It's corruption because that's the very man you said in opposition he was corrupt. He said the deal was full of corruption. You would come and deal with it. He didn't. Manasseh took the thing to Parliament, and then for years, the committee is not coming out with their report. You see, we'll continue making noise about it.
I see. And you should also be asking Parliament, that particular committee, as to why, for all these years, they've not come out with the said report.
Yes.
That's a legitimate question to ask.
Absolutely.
Beyond what
those are the areas people are faulting Bagbin for. You see, he would play here and play there, play with Akufo-Addo, then play with NDC. Speaker, no. It's once in a while we have to say the truth. But how? You set up a committee. Yes. The committee doesn't come up with its report, and that is it. You remember also even the Parliamentary Committee on the IGP. You see that one too. You see? You see? Speaker, no. We must speak. You can't go into a 9th Parliament with such a track record. I don't agree. Speaker Bagbin, if you want to be Speaker in the next Parliament, then produce the 2 reports. The IG report, what do you call the tapping?
The secret recording.
Secret recording of the COP Alex Mensah, then the other policemen, Bugri Nabu, etc. We must get that report. We must get it. And
then this one as well.
And this one on the Zoom Lion contracts. The contracts that Akufo-Addo said were riddled with corruption. They were corrupt in opposition. And that if he came, he would see to that. The Better Ghana management contract. These poor mothers and sisters sweeping the streets for a pittance. You cheat them so much. Akufo-Addo said, no, this is corruption. There is so padded. The Zoom Lion was making too much, and that GM wasn't talking about it because he was getting a cut. Akufo-Addo came and it continued. So what would we naturally conclude? And it means that he too was benefiting from that corrupt contract. Then Manasseh presented a petition to Parliament. Speaker sets up a committee, and then for years, no report. How?
You know, Alfred.
Well, I don't. Yes, you're in Parliament.
I'm in Parliament. I think that it's appropriate that I just put in a word. And whatever I intend to say, it's not my intention to, in any way, take away from the very essential issues that Mr. Martin Kpebu has raised. I think that there are legitimate questions to ask of Parliament, and he has done that. And I think that the House perhaps should be guided by some of these concerns that people who are watching and expecting better from us, I hope that we are guided by that, by those expectations. But just to say that Speaker Bagbin may not be faulted easily in this matter, because what he is supposed to do, he did. I mean, you get a petition, you set up a committee. and the committee is made up of members of parliament from both sides. And so if those members in that committee fail to produce a report that can be a workable one, that can lead to a resolution, yes, he has the authority to perhaps give them timelines and insist that they produce a report within those timelines. But in this particular case, you can imagine the nature of parliament that we had and the overwhelming things that we were dealing with. And it was easy for him as one man perhaps to lose focus on some of these things and demand that the committees produce their reports at a certain time. And that is why I think that if the blame is to the entire parliament, I accept it. And I think that we must all take that blame. Because even as members, we should show interest in the work of these committees, even if you are not a member of the committee, and demand that your colleagues produce that report. Because at the end of the day, it is about the image of the institution that we are all part of. And so, like I said, there are legitimate concerns to have. There are legitimate demands to make of Parliament. But I think that it should be the responsibility of the entire institution. It may not seem very fair to single one person and hold responsible for what may have happened in the cases that he cited. There are some cases that you can apportion blame to one person, either the speaker, either a particular member of parliament, either the chairman of a committee, either the leadership of the house. But in some cases, like in this one, I think that it is the right thing to blame the entire parliament. And it was a difficult parliament, we all have to agree. I mean, where we had equal numbers, I should say. So it made it very difficult for some controversial issues, such as the one that he has raised, to get to logical conclusions, because you had the push and the pull, and for example, in the IGP committee probe, secret recording, I know that a report was at some point produced. In fact, 2 reports. You understand? You had a chairman report, you had a ranking member report, and the speaker was in the middle of that, trying to ensure that they bring these reports together to present to the House for adoption and for the actions that had to be taken thereof. But that never really materialized, and we all saw the drama play out in the media between James Agalga, Honorable James Agalga, and Honorable Attach. So in this case, I mean, how do you hold only the speaker responsible for the House's inability to produce a report? Well, you understand? It becomes the responsibility of the people who are in the committee, perhaps, to have reached a middle ground and produce a report for the House to work with. And so that is what I just thought I should say. But I think that once again, I must repeat that there are legitimate concerns, there are legitimate questions that are asked of Parliament, and we in Parliament, especially those of us in the 9th Parliament, must be guided by some of these expectations that the general public have of us.
Does that mean that all these instances Kpebu mentioned, they are dying with this 8th Parliament, the IGP's leak tape committee report, this Zoom Lion matter, and then also this 52.8 billion that lawyer Flo petitioned the Speaker? All these are dying with the 8th Parliament. It cannot be carried on to the 9th Parliament.
Unfortunately, it cannot be carried on, I mean, to the best of my knowledge, automatically. But it can be triggered again. Okay. It can be triggered again. I mean, a fresh petition can be presented, and then the new Parliament can now constitute committees, if need be, to look into it and perhaps get to the bottom of it.
I see. Interesting. Yes.
Well, I think how good to start the morning with.
Yes.
Martin Kpebu has succeeded in setting the agenda for us.
No. I mean, let's just a quick one. You can tell
Yes. With all respect, he succeeded in setting the agenda for this morning's discourse, and that's a good one. You see, anything that is a rot or anything that is an ill event or activity that will go a long way to bring this country down, I am for it to be fought. I stand by anyone who is going to fight against the ills of our governance system. Any governance system. And you see, I have always maintained that corruption must be fought by us all. And I like the stance my brother took. Don't single one person out and hang him, when in fact, many of us are culpable when it comes to the matter.
But leadership is
good leadership. That is the argument he made in Parliament, and then my brother Sohini sought to say that, look, don't single out the authority, which in this case, the Speaker alone. Because we all are stakeholders, we all have a role to play. The buck stops with all of us. And I like the angle my brother Sohini comes from.
But I also said there are some instances where
you know,
can apportion
I should make this point clear.
Yes, go ahead.
Many or a lot of the issues that my brother talked about has to do with the Auditor General's report. Year on year, we have Auditor General's report coming out. Question we ask, the people who are cited in the Auditor General report, and in fact, every single report will cite an individual who is supposed to answer questions. And that is why Article 187 of the Constitution will tell you that the person who is cited, if looked into the matter, must be surcharged if only there's some veracity of it. Okay? So I'm saying that no Auditor General report will emanate from the Auditor General without the institution being cited, the person being cited. So if you come to sit down and then you try to gloss over who has been cited and the matter that has come up, okay, and rather want to go out there for one whose name is not in it. In this case, saying Akufo-Addo has done this, the Auditor General must see him, for him not to run away, he should get his money. I mean, I don't expect someone who I learn law from to speak like this. No, okay. I don't. Honestly. Because these are people who are role models in our society. I always want to be a fine lawyer like Martin Kpebu. But of course, every lawyer must speak to facts, evidence, and whatever. Lawyers don't play with emotions. Lawyers don't. No, with all respect, you know it. The law is not an emotional thing. You know that every single person is cited. Go after him. Look, let me tell you, the wrong that happens in our society, trust me, the civil service that we have must be looked into properly. Politicians are only bearing the brunt for nothing, mostly. I am telling you, civil service that we have, look into the public service properly. Go there and see what chief directors are doing. See what people who are supposed to be civil servants are doing. And yet we gloss over all this, then we move to a politician just because we want to play the politics of it. I think that's so sad.
I think that if you were making reference to what Alhassan Suhuyini said,
yes,
he indicated and put a caveat to it.
No,
I'm coming. If you are relating to his position that in a number of instances the institution of Parliament must be blamed, he also makes the point that in other circumstances, the leadership of Parliament, in this case, the Speaker, must also be called to question. So I don't think it's wrong if the President is called upon to show leadership in the fight against corruption.
I have never said that it was wrong.
Okay,
the point is that if you are speaking to a particular happening, in this case, citing the Auditor General's report, and I'm saying when you read every single report, if it has to do with this institution, they cite it. Either the financial malfeasance has to do with the accountant, it has to do with who, it has to do with whatever. Those things are cited. And I'm saying, if you are citing such a document, of course, speak to specifics. Do not go on a wild goose chase, say that, look, let me go out there and then look for the president, just because he's the president, and then leave the meat of the matter lying down. In any case, if I'm supposed to, suppose we are speaking to the matter, and we want a logical conclusion to it, and then you have to go to court to ensure that maybe somebody who's supposed to be surcharged is surcharged, properly so speaking. You don't cite the president. You speak on evidence, you go there with your case, your case will, at the end of the day, exonerate whoever is supposed to be exonerated, and then bring whoever
Can I just indicate the difference in the two cases? So you see, in the case of a Speaker of Parliament, if a committee or leadership of a committee fails to do what he has tasked them to do, he has no power to sack them from Parliament. But in the case of the President, if the Auditor General that he appointed fails to retrieve monies that are reported lost, he has that power to dismiss the Auditor General.
He does.
And if he doesn't, and someone assumes that he hasn't because he's comfortable with it, the person will be forgiven to make that assumption.
You see,
fair.
He does have the power. Recently, let me just give you a short case, what happened in court just recently about our elections. And my good brother, Eduji, played his role so well in court.
Well, who was just saying...
What happened? What he did was that he argued on natural justice. Have you heard the person? Have you gone to the logical conclusion of the matter? Then the Supreme Court upheld his argument. I'm saying that if you even have a case against whoever, let that person be cited. I'm not for anyone who is going to do wrong. Let the person be cited. Let the matter get to a logical conclusion. Let him be punished if supposed to be punished. Then at the end of the day, you would have gotten there. But if you put a spin on the matter and then hide it, then
so
the main people...
Kpebu say that the contract is full of corruption and that he would tackle it when it comes to office.
Anyway,
so what is the spin?
He played whatever he played. He has played his role, and I'm saying that as a lawyer, whoever is check the person.
Kpebu is the one I'm taking on.
Really?
He said it's full of corruption.
The report cites
Kpebu in opposition said that Zoom Lion, the better Ghana management contracts and the sweeping contracts were full of corruption. He said it, and that he would deal with it.
The Auditor General report has Akpebu's name in it.
No, that I don't have to do. What are you talking about? Is it the Auditor General's report we use for accountability?
Let's get serious.
No, stop those shit. I've been listening to you.
Let's get serious.
There's a limit to that. You are, I mean, come on. What do you mean? Is it the Auditor General who does accountability? What do you mean? Is it the Auditor General? So why do you have to limit it to the Auditor General? Why do you have to limit it to the Auditor General?
As a law.
He said it. No, stop.
So,
stop with the lopsided idea. No, you have no right to determine what is right, what is wrong. He said it is full of corruption. So the thing is that he must walk his song. What do you mean?
Thank you very much.
What do you mean? No, you don't
make your point.
Stop the question about emotion. What's emotional about it? What's emotional? No, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Oh, come on, stop that. What is that? What do you mean? What do you mean I do emotion? What do you mean I do? What's emotional about it? You can't wait, let's deal with this. Don't let him get away with that. Did the Kpebu say that the contract is full of corruption or not? Did he say that or not? And this one did. And he said he will deal with it. So what do you mean by saying that it's emotional?
Deal with it. Deal with it.
Did he say he will even use an nice principle? No, stop insulting.
No. You should rather also
stop that. Come on.
No, don't do that.
What do you mean?
It's not early in the morning, but of course,
come on.
Serious about it.
In the end, if you're
it's very disrespectful. You come and sit here and try to
really? It's not disrespectful to speak to anything. It's not. I'm speaking to facts to respond to you.
I'm speaking to facts. He said it.
Microphones are off.
Surprise.
No, stop. You have been very disrespectful.
No.
This is what got you guys into opposition.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
In the end, he made reference to what the president said. Okay, thank you. You made your point. Okay.
This conduct has
yes.
No. He says that's not got us into a position.
Okay. We are speaking to facts and then
please, let's get serious.
It doesn't matter.
No. Please don't do what you are doing.
Now, in the end, so he made reference to a statement
no.
Ghana Akufo-Addo made while in opposition, and the expectation that he will carry on with that statement of promise when he is voted into power. That did not happen. I don't think that you are disputing that Nana Akufo-Addo described that particular contract as one riddled with corruption, because if you Google it, you can find it. Yeah. I think that going forward, we need to acknowledge where some shortcomings have been done, and not necessarily we want to defend or play the politics of it. As you indicated, corruption demands all of us to be truthful and come on board to fight it.
Which I agree.
which you agree.
Oh, well, you are being put out. Your lip service slogan.
You see what hold on. What's
slogan? 8 years. Your mama's waste mark was your best.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that.
So let it be.
Well, Nana Duranko Ekofa.
To all our cherished viewers all around the globe, we say thank you for your time on the channel once again. And to our new subscribers, please do turn the notification bell to all posts so that you'll be notified duly of any latest update that will be loaded onto the channel. Do share to your friends as well to also have a view of what is going on around the globe. Thank you. Stay tuned.
Dedi Kamal, Mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.